everyone doing? Hope you guys are doing well. I just came back from lunch, so I do have my water on me to rinse out my mouth a little bit so we can get started. But yeah, I've had a pretty full day. Been teaching all morning, and I've started a little ritual where once a week I will go out to have lunch, even though technically I have food at home. And for a person who works by themselves at home, the once a week going out to see society for even just like less than an hour, just for about somewhere between 35 to 45 minutes is really worth it. Really worth it. So I actually started this many years ago, but because of COVID, I ended up falling out of that little ritual. So I started it back up last week. And, you know, it's just one of those things that I used to do all the time that I just had, it just completely faded out of my life and I completely forgot about it until I think it was the end of the week before that. And I was like, I feel like this is not really good for my mental health to just, the only real person that I talk to and interact with, sometimes every single day, because sometimes we don't even go out on the weekends because it kind of depends on how John is feeling. So I can go weeks where the only real life person I'm talking to is John. And that cannot be healthy. So I started it back up last week where I just head out for lunch and that forces me to interact with other people. And yeah, it's great. Yeah, I actually used to do every other week, like Megan is saying here. I actually used to do every other week, but, you know, looking at how much I earn, I was like, I think that this is worth the mental health benefits. Like, I see it as paying for my mental health. So I don't get the most expensive lunch out. I try to keep my full expenses to about $15. So I did get a coffee. I transferred it to this cup. So I have a coffee. I haven't finished it. I was just taking a few sips. I didn't want to finish it completely before doing this stream. But yeah, so, you know, as far as lunches go in the Seattle area, $10 for lunch is really cheap. And $5 for coffee is also very cheap. I know that sounds ridiculous, like compared to other parts of the states that are, you know, maybe not so near large cities. But in large cities, that is considered, or near large cities is considered very cheap. So I figured, doing the math, you know, I would be paying about $60 a month for my mental health. And I feel like compared to how much I earn, that is well worth the money. So yeah, I do feel so much better having interacted with other people, with the public, with society, even just from ordering stuff and people watching, you know. So yeah, I just came back from that. So I definitely need to rinse out my mouth a little bit before I start playing, but I already have my flute out because I was teaching all morning. So I just kind of, you know, did a quick swab before I went out to lunch, and then I figured I'm practicing right after lunch, so why put it away? There's no point. Ashmit, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. That's so sweet of you. You got my coffee. Thank you. Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Ah, Megan. So you get a nice lunch for $20 to $25. Yeah. Yeah. You do cubicle work, so little interaction. Exactly. Like having that little bit of like public society interaction fairly regularly, at least every other week, like Megan is doing here, is so well worth it, you know? Science people are frequently happy introverts. Our jobs don't usually have as much interaction. Yeah. You know, like weirdly enough, I'm like talking to you guys all the time. So like all of my lessons are talking to people, but they're not like in real life and without the teacher-student dynamic, right? There's always this kind of like teacher-student dynamic. And then here, when I'm talking to you guys, let's be real. Even though I try to be as myself as possible, there's still the aspect of we have the dynamic of content creator and consumers. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. That is what's happening here. A bunch of you guys are here just to kind of like enjoy your time here, relax, maybe listen to some of my inner monologues, as well as my playing. So yeah. So it's all like, I realize that what I really need is like a dynamic, like some sort of public social interaction dynamic that does not have anything to do with my job. And like, there's no kind of like, you know what I mean? Like there's no working dynamic there. So yeah. But yeah, let me say hi to everyone. Hey, Victor, Miguel, Lilac, Phantom, Megan. Yes. Oshmith. Yes. I think I already said hi to you too. Let's see. Sometimes the cheaper lunches are even better than the more expensive lunches, both in taste and not hurting the wallet. Yeah, you could say that. I would say that my cheap lunch is, it's okay. It's Chipotle. Like it's okay. I get a little salad bowl, so it's like a nice smattering of vegetables, and it's tasty and high in fiber, so it's good. It's good for someone like me. I was trying to see if I could find something of a similar price that was different today, and I couldn't. So I was like, because I was trying to see if there's some things on sale and stuff, but there wasn't. So I was a bit of a fail today. I think what I might do is go to a different restaurant next week, just straight up a different restaurant, and find something that's kind of in the $10-ish range. So yeah, a bit of a fail this week, but I still got my public social interaction, so that's good. Jorge, hello. Ruth, hello from Chicago. Great. Are you visiting Chicago? Is that what's happening? Hey, Robbie, hello. Nathan, hello. Consumers checking in. Exactly. Hello from Alaska. Wow, Robbie. Wonderful. Fun fact, my husband and I honeymooned in Alaska quite a few years ago now. We've been married 5 years. So hello, Aline. Hello, Susie. Hello. Someone's favorite pizza is from the gas station Casey's. Is that a Chicago thing? Casey's. Is it Casey's General Store? Is that what that is? Casey's, like, it's a convenience store company, right? And someone really likes their pizza? Interesting. Oh, okay. Oh, you live in Chicago. So weird deluge of rain almost every day for the past many weeks. See, we here in Seattle are used to the rain. We're not used to how sunny it is here. We don't know what to do with the heat here. We have no idea. Like, there's a small minority of people here who are absolutely loving the weather right now. But I would say a very large handful of us are just suffering right now. And fair for the rest of the world to think we're completely weak sauce, okay? Because we are complaining when the weather gets to mid 80s, okay? When the weather gets to 80s and mid 80s, we're already complaining. Like, that is how weak we are. I know that some people are like, oh man, that's like, ideal, right? And we're like, no, we're a bunch of vampires. We don't know what to do with the sun. But it's literally called Casey's Pizza. Casey's Pizza Food and Grocery Delivery. Interesting. I mean, their pictures online look pretty darn good. Barbecue pulled pork pizza. Wait, that sounds so good. Are there pickles on there? I see pickles, onions, and pulled pork on this pizza. Let me see. So it's barbecue sauce, mozzarella, slow smoked pulled pork, bacon, cheddar cheese, red onion, and thick cut pickles. I'd eat that. That sounds good. I mean, Italians are probably, kind of being like, what? Looking at this, but it sounds good. I would eat it. Yes, I'm in the Seattle area. Yes. Flute berries. Hello, Jenny. How are you? So one of those gas stations has a pretty big store. We don't have that in the Pacific Northwest. We don't have that. I can think of one place that is like that, and it's like in the middle of freaking nowhere. But yeah, that's really cool. I know this sounds so weird, but I do, I've seen food vloggers vlogging about the food at these convenience stores, and they look so good. But we just don't really have them in the Pacific Northwest. Yeah. Walmart has cheap food plates? Really? Because I don't think the Walmarts in our area do like hot food. You're talking hot food, right? Huh. Interesting. So it's been 110s in California. I am so sorry, Miguel. That is ridiculous. How do you basically just stay inside? So it's cooler this week in the mid 90s. Oh goodness. That sounds Southern AF. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Osh Smith, thank you. Oh, that's my 20th super on a live stream. Thank you for being my 20th super. Thank you for the $2. So what symphonies am I a part of? I used to be a part of the Ensign symphony and chorus that was based here in the Seattle area, but I left them in the beginning of COVID, and I haven't rejoined any symphony. Well, you could say I was asked to join, and I made a vlog about it, the Vancouver Metropolitan Orchestra. So I do have a vlog about my experience being second flute there, but that was not it. That's by far not a permanent position or anything. They just needed me for that one concert. So right now, I honestly just don't really have an interest in long-term commitments to an orchestra. If an orchestra wanted me to do a one-off concert, like few rehearsals, 2-3 rehearsals, something like that, and then the concert, I feel like I have the time and the commitment to do that. But more than that, I truly don't actually have the time. So I'm pretty booked up teaching and making content. So, and I'm really happy with it. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. So Jenny also trying not to melt in this hot weather. Yeah. Robbie, you usually live in Seattle. Oh, do you go between Seattle and Alaska? Is that what you do? Yeah, I mean, if we run into each other, if you see me, I mean, I won't recognize you because I only see your name here, okay? But if you recognize me, please stop me and say hi. Yeah? You can even say that you're Robbie from the live stream, from my live streams. Yeah. Oh, yes, Costco, that's true. You're right. Costco does have the really cheap food. So we will every now and then do dinner at Costco, the $1.50 hot dog. And if we're really hungry, we'll do the hot dog and then a slice of pizza. But that's only if we're really hungry. We get pretty full after that. And then every time we have the pizza though at Costco, I'm not sure what the Costco is like around you guys, but our Costco does not really make good pizza. It's not really good. It's just super greasy. it kind of makes you feel a little sick and gross, you know? Sometimes you want that, to be fair. Sometimes you want to feel gross, you know? But yeah, so we only ever really get it if we're like really hungry. So oof. So Lilac, they warned people in Colorado, so where you are, I guess, about the heat watches to avoid outside as much as possible. Oof. Yeah. Way too hot to do anything other than staying at home. Yeah. That's just another form of like lockdown, right? Man. Oh, yeah. Heat wave across most of the country. Yep. Oh, the very berry sundae at Costco. Have you guys tried? Okay, we'll talk about this one thing and then we will start practicing. But have you guys tried? We saw this in a video. I mostly watch food vloggers, but I watch Feed May, who's based in California, and she was showing in a video. I think this is her and her now fiance. The kind of like secret thing you can do, or like the hack that people do, is you get the, I think it's the, is it the iced latte, or it's like a coffee shake, or what is it? I think it's a latte. I think it's like an iced latte, and you get vanilla ice cream, and then you mix the two together. And it is amazing. It's really good. I can't have coffee too late. And every time we go to Costco, it's usually for dinner. So we haven't been able to do it for a long time. And then one time, there was one rare time we went to Costco for lunch. And we're like, we're going to do this. So we did it. In fact, I think we tried to do it once, but they had run out of the latte. Cold brew. I think that's what it is. It's like a cold brew latte thing. And then the second time we tried it for like another of our rare Costco lunches, we did it, and it's very good. Highly recommend. What is the hot dog in the chicken bake hack? That sounds like way too much sodium. Because the chicken bake that we have at it used to be good. I feel like it used to be good. But then our local Costco, just for some reason, I don't know what it is, but that chicken bake is so salty now. I can literally only taste salt now. I don't know if I'm just getting old and like that's why I'm just tasting the salt. Because I know for a fact that my parents really don't like things really salty. So I don't know if I'm just getting old and my taste buds are like becoming more like them. But yeah. So highly recommend. Oh, post-workout food, the very berry sundae. That would be a really great post-workout food. So yeah. So some people take the hot dog and literally just put it inside the chicken bake. So like including the bun or just the sausage? I'm imagining it's probably just the sausage, right? Okay, if the chicken bake wasn't that salty, I'd do it. That sounds pretty good. I don't know if I'd stuff the bread in there. No bun, just the sausage. Okay, yeah. I'd do it. Yeah. Weirdly enough, I wonder if it will make it taste slightly less salty, because I don't recall the sausage being that salty. Lilac, you'd quit marching band in this heat? Oh, yes. Is there someone in here? Wait, Miguel. You had your championship marching band competition senior year of high school canceled due to the fires. Yeah. It's wildfire season here too. We have a wildfire watch, I think, in Eastern Washington. So some of our mornings right now, like when you see the sun coming through, it's like orange, which is, usually a sign that there's a fire somewhere. So, am I also a private teacher? I am. So when I'm not streaming, I am either like making content, like some sort of video content in the background, or I'm teaching. So I teach exclusively online. If you want to see how that works out, you can head to my website, JustAnotherFlutist.com, /lessons, I believe. Here. Let me grab the the link for you. So there. I put the link there if any of you guys want to check it out. I will say right now, I no longer can dish out regular times to you guys. And like I have open spots, but they're kind of irregular. So, you know, as long as you're willing to fly by the seat of your pants to schedule lessons, then that's how that works. So, I think it might be interesting, I think, for me to briefly explain, one, why it's exclusively online, and two, the age range of the people that I teach. So it's exclusively online. I'm going to be legitimately just real with you guys. I fell in love with it. I love it. I freaking love it. I actually like it more than in-person lessons. I don't know what it is. I think it maybe is because it's like very slightly more challenging for me. And so it like, I think it like makes my brain more interested in it. I was randomly asked by a viewer to teach their daughter. So she and her daughter watched my videos, and I want to say it was 2015, I want to say I think like 9 years ago now. They cold emailed me, the mom cold emailed me and was like, hey, do you offer online lessons? And I was like, you know, inexperienced at that time. And I didn't want to admit that I have never given online lessons because I was desperate to earn some money at that time. Like I had nearly nothing to do at that time. So I took 2 days to whip up a PDF brochure about, you know, my supposed rules and how my online lessons work, when really I had no idea what I was doing. But I essentially asked them if they would be okay with us trying out how payment works and stuff like that, and just generally working out the kinks of online lessons for about a year. So I did that for a year so that I could understand what were like some things that some rules that I had to instill, so put in, and, you know, like how do I do my scheduling and stuff like that. So I went public with it a year after that. And then just slowly, my studio filled up. So my studio, I want to say it like truly filled up maybe about a year or two ago, something like that. And it's just that now I've gotten to the point where I really cannot give regular times now for scheduling. So, like I definitely have a large portion of my students who have regular scheduling, but they're, you know, that last kind of like 20-ish% of my students, they kind of have to swap around with each other in order to fit everyone in. So, but yeah, so I fell in love with online teaching. Now with online teaching, it's really difficult to do with minors. And, a lot of teachers will agree with me on that. So even if you are a minor watching this, you might also agree that online teaching can kind of suck. Okay. So I had some, you know, challenges, I will say, with teaching, you know, folks who are under 18 years old. Granted, most of my students were already adults because these are the types of people who are interested in the types of lessons that I offer. So I had some challenges, but my studio wasn't filled up enough for me to justify actually raising my age requirement. I kind of fell in love over time with teaching adults too. So I was like, well, since I like teaching this age range of 18 and above, I'm just going to wait until my studio fills up enough for me to raise my age requirement. So that's what I did. And it's been several years now that I only teach people who are 18 and older. Yeah, makes it a lot easier to figure out like scheduling, payments, etc. And I really don't have to chase people down for payments either, because you are paying for your own thing, right? It's it can get like the communication can get more complicated, not impossible, but it can get more complicated when the person who is paying is not the person who is taking the lesson. So yeah, but there you go. That is kind of the whole big intro into like how my online studio works. Yeah. So you're welcome, Robbie. You're welcome. Yeah, no, I only teach online. It is exclusive. So my students see this. This is what they see. Well, in fact, here, let me do this. I'm going to take everything off. This is what my students see. Like, this is legitimately, like, if you're taking a lesson with me, this is what you see. Yeah. So I just turn everything on for the stream. Yeah. How do I teach beginning students online? Right. I don't. That was one of the things that I figured out in the first year of teaching online. I realized that there was no way that I can teach beginners online. So I do have a requirement. I have a prerequisite of taking lessons with a teacher for a whole year, an in-person teacher, at the very least, if you are a beginner. Yeah, exactly. Celestian, hello from flute practice. Are you practicing the flute too? Is that what's happening here? Yeah, I should start practicing soon. So let's see. Lilac, you have a flute pedagogy class? That's awesome. So you had that last semester. Had you talk about setting up studios and of course teaching. Writing a syllabus was hard, but the bio was fun. Yeah. So if you guys want to see basically what I wrote up, I essentially did what your flute pedagogy class was doing, just on the spot. Like I learned on the job for a year and I developed what I have on my website right now. So you can see basically my homework. Yeah. Hey, Jorge, you tried out the C key little extension. That's great. I'm glad I helped you. You're just about to start your flute practice. Me too. You're on G major, E minor this week for like you're actually using the flute practice scale thing, right? The flute practice scale book. Lilac, you're also practicing. I love it. Look at us all practicing together. It can be even hard teaching beginners in person. Online would be even harder. Exactly. So it's not that I am averse to teaching beginners. Actually, kind of, it's fun. It is fun to teach beginners. But at least the teaching style that I developed for beginners in person do not work online. And part of it is because you have to do a lot of very interactive things. So, for example, one of the most effective ways of teaching a good flute airstream is to take the other person's hand. So you have to make sure no one's sick, okay? So you take the other person's hand and you blow on their hand in exactly the way that you would blow into your flute. And then you get them to mimic it on their own hand, right? And then you blow on your own hand to verify. Then you get them to blow on your hand so you can verify their airstream too. This is not something you can do online. You cannot do it online. And this sounds horrible, guys. This sounds horrible, but I'm just going to be real with you. I have no interest in figuring out how to teach it online. I'm sorry. I have no interest. I figured that there are many other flute teachers out there where this is their passion, to figure out how to teach beginners online. And you know what? since that is not something that I have any personal vested interest in at all, why should I push myself to do that? I'm already kind of like super into reviewing flutes. Yes, I took the flute out. Okay, that we're reviewing on Friday because I had to check that it was okay, and it's okay. Okay, so like I'm already doing all this stuff that I am very passionate about. Takes a lot of time to do, and I have like there are plenty of students who fulfill my prerequisites and requirements that I get to teach. So I don't need to dip into every single facet of flute teaching. Like, I think it's okay for me to have found my niche and enjoy my niche, you know? Yeah. So there you go. Random question. Did I ever get a case for my brand and head joint? You still remember my makeshift one? You guys are so funny. So Miguel, a student of mine bought me one. He couldn't stand that I was using my makeshift one, so he bought me one. So yes. Right now I believe this one is, yeah. So this one houses my old head joint. Yeah. Is it wise to practice the flute with a sore throat? No. Please don't. It's not worth it. I find that it makes it worse. I don't know why, because I'm not a doctor. But personally, from my personal experience, it just makes it worse. So you're better off just waiting like a week. If it's really bad, 2 weeks for it to completely go away and then play the flute again, than to try and play the flute now, make it worse, and then make the illness itself last longer too. You will actually, in my experience, you end up wasting more time trying to push yourself to still practice when you're feeling under the weather like that. Yeah. Oh, Celestian, using the flute scale book by Patricia George. I've heard great things about that one. That's great. Awesome. Awesome. So Megan, you fall outside of beginner, but came back after 20 years and wasn't, but 2 years of your initial lessons. There you go. Yeah. So I actually accept students like that who have taken the flute before, just as long as you know how to rudimentarily play the flute, then we can have lessons. But if you're a complete and utter beginner, you've never picked up the flute before, etc., no can do. Sorry. Oh, Lilac, you have to record your ensemble audition before August 9th. You move back to grad school August 16th. Oh, that's a lot going on there. Yeah. Ruth, thank you so much. We have that in almost every aspect of life, really. Yeah, right? That it's totally okay to be like, you know what? I just don't have a vested interest in something, even though it's related to what I do. And I'm okay with it because there are many other people who can fill in that gap, you know? Yeah. Hardest lesson to learn was wear earplugs. Oof. Yes. Especially if you are blasting super high notes for way too long. Also, especially on piccolo. Yeah. Sean, thank you so much. Canuck Fluter, that is. Hello. Welcome back to the stream. Okay. I better get started practicing. So let's get that hour going. Let's raise this. Oh, goodness. Okay. Everything's fine. I nearly had another accident over there, but we didn't. So everything's fine. Okay. Why is this thing not... Hello, camera. Okay, there we go. Let me get my arch support slippers on so I have good posture. Okay, I'm gonna move this here. Move my pedals over here. Let me get my Bluetooth pedal. Okay, gonna rinse out my mouth, and we are gonna get going. Okay, feel free, guys, to keep asking questions. I just won't be able to get to the questions until I'm at a good break point in what I'm doing. But keep those questions coming. You guys can take if you guys are up for it, you absolutely can take a little little page out of Oshmith's book here. And if you super chat, like even just like $1 or $2, it highlights your question and it makes it very easy for me to find. So if you guys are up, I know that that means money, okay? But it is a surefire way to get my attention. So just thought I'd put that out there. Okay, so let's do our harmonics here. Here we go. Those few sips of coffee are really making me want to speed up my air like crazy. So I'm finding that I actually have to slow it down a little bit. I got some phlegm. It's definitely dislodging a lot of phlegm right now. Okay, definitely a little hard to get my airstream to sit high enough today on the absolute highest notes. So that I need to keep in mind today. Miguel, I just saw that you said you have an empty case that isn't in use and you were planning on gifting it to me. That is very unnecessary, but thank you for the thought. I really appreciate it. That's super sweet. So let's see. I wonder if maybe we might run into each other anyway, Miguel. Honestly, I was planning on just milling about when I'm not supposed to be at the booth. Like I was just going to, like go around. Hey, Chi Eduardo. I'm just doing my stream earlier because it's going to be easier on my mental health to switch into filming mode after this. So that's why this is happening earlier. How are you doing, Chi Eduardo? And Megan, you love the flute practice scale book. I love it too. Freaking love it. Yeah. Miguel, if you see me, if you like catch me walking somewhere or something like that, please just come up to me and stop me and tell me that you're Miguel. That you're Miguel from the live stream. Okay? Yeah. You're doing pretty good, Chi Eduardo. That's great. I'm glad to hear. Okay. Let's now do Della Sonorite. So we're doing Della Sonorite exercise 1. Okay, very cool. So we'll do that. So these are fullness of tone exercises. Essentially, it's a lot of dynamic manipulation, and it helps you get a feel of like how to very subtly manipulate things inside of your mouth. So that is what we're going to be working on now. Let me drag that down. There we go. Cool. Okay, so let's do this. Speaking of summer fit, I can't find these kinds of shirts anymore. This shirt is so great for the summer because it's like kind of like floofy and loose, but I like the way it drapes. But you don't find these anymore. These are basically, it's a half circle. So you look, it's a half circle where it's just sewn up the side here to make a sleeve. I cannot find these shirts anymore. These shirts are just completely and utterly they are completely out of date, very old style. So I don't know if this makes me look super old. It probably does, but I cannot find these anymore. And these drape on my body really well. The like tight little crop top business that's happening these days, I do not have the body type for that. I mean, I'm sure that if I wore it, I'd look okay, but like, I don't think I look cute in them, you know? So like, I'm wearing all these really old shirts because I cannot find like, you know, styles that I really like these days. Like, I like this sort of like oversized drapey type of stuff. It's so hard to find, guys. Sugar glider. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm like the little they're so cute. But yeah. Is there any, no, this is from a night market. Like, this is very, very knockoff Hello Kitty. I do not think that this is official. 100%. Yeah. We're not talking about the new styles. Man, it's just, everything is crop top. And I'm just like, guys, I don't, like, not everyone looks good in a crop top. Like, give me something. Hey, Chris, how are you? Like, give me something that's not crop top, please. Like, something that's flowy and drapey and, like, you know, like, still nice and airy for the summer. Oh my gosh, I hate it. It's, okay, it looks cute on some people. Okay, we'll give you that. Like, the fashion, the trends definitely looks cute on some people. But I can't, it's not that I can't wear it. I don't feel cute in them. And I'm just like, can we not have more styles to choose from, please? So now I'm just wearing clothes that are like 10, 15 years old because, like, I just don't like the stuff that comes out these days. Oh well. Okay, I feel like I got a much more gradual change there, so that's good. Lilac, you like the magic robe inspired kind of clothing, breathable and flowy. Yes, agree. Hard agree. I freaking love that style. Like, I love the, like, you know, flowy, loose, you know, kind of like drapey sort of look. I'm like, I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that I'm a huge Lord of the Rings fan, but I just really like that drapey look, you know? It's just, I don't know. It's elegant, magical. I love it, you know? I'm going to do that one again. I think I'm going to start even softer. Okay, I think I was smashing the flute too far into my chin, so it's causing my lip to jut too far forward and thus too close to the opposite edge of the lip hole. So just need to make sure that the flute is light on my lower, like on my chin, so that my lip doesn't like hang over so much. So I want to try it one more time with that in mind. I only figured that out towards the end of that, so. Okay, I think that's as loud as it's going to get today. So, but good things to keep in mind. So I think I am generally smashing the flute into my chin. So that's probably making my low notes not as happy. Yeah, that definitely helps. Like keeping the flute light on the chin, really good for those low notes. For anyone dropping in wondering why that's the case, it's to keep your lower lip from protruding too far forward. If your lower lip is protruding too far forward, it places the aperture between your lips too close to the opposite edge of the lip hole. And if the closer your lips are to the opposite edge of the lip hole, the faster the airstream that edge will catch coming out of your mouth. Because if you blow a steady stream of air closer to your face, the airspeed will feel faster, and further away from your face, the airstream will feel slower. So in the same way, if your lips are too close to the opposite edge, your flute is going to naturally catch a higher airspeed coming out of you, and it's going to be really hard to play low notes. So if you keep the flute nice and light on your chin, you won't end up here. I'll show you guys. So if you keep the flute nice and light on your chin, I'll do this. So here, if the flute is nice and light on your chin, it'll look something like this. But if it's really smashed in, you can see how my lips kind of hang over much more, right? Versus if it's relaxed, then the lips don't hang over as much. So hopefully that's somewhat helpful for you guys to like understand why I'm saying this. Hey Henry, how are you? Okay, so let's do the higher notes now. I think for my Airstream today, my Airstream literally feels caffeinated today. So I kind of knew I probably either should have gotten a decaf or I just straight up should not have had my coffee, like any sips of my coffee before this practice session. But oh well, it is what it is. It's okay. You know, we're still alive. It's fine. So I know my bar is very low. I know that if my bar is that I'm alive and so it's fine, I understand. I understand that means that my standards are extremely low. But, you know, sometimes you gotta treat yourself and have a coffee. Okay. Henry, you're going to a masterclass in France this weekend. Woo! Are you playing at the masterclass? Are you watching? Who is the professor, guest artist? I'm so curious. Are you coming over to NFA? I mean, if you are, so you're a participant. Fantastic. Congratulations. Teacher is Jean Frandis. I'm saying that wrong, aren't I? I'm saying it completely wrong. That's fantastic. I hope you have a wonderful time and you learn a lot and just like have a different perspective on the stuff that you've worked on. I think that's the most fun part about masterclasses is that you get a very different take on what you're doing. And it can be very refreshing and very inspirational. So that's really awesome. If you're coming to NFA, please hit up the Flute Center booth. I will be there on Saturday and Sunday. So the Saturday, I believe, is on August 3rd. And I believe I'm doing that at, is it 3 to 5 p.m.? And then I think the Sunday one, I'm doing it from, I want to say it's 11 to 2. Is that right? I don't remember. 11 to 1? 11 to 2? I have looked this up in front of you guys twice now, and I'm about to do it a third time because Lord knows I cannot remember. So let me see. Yes. So yes, August 3rd, 3 to 5 at the Flute Center booth. August 4th, 11 to 1 at the Flute Center booth. And beyond those times, I will be milling about the convention. So like I might attend interesting things that I see on the program, schedule, whatever. You know, if I get caught up in conversation with some flutists or some booths, I'll be there. So I'm just kind of going to be kind of milling about. So great. You're playing with a local flute ensemble for the concert. Fantastic. I'm going to try and attend a lot of these concerts and stuff like that. So yeah. And Henry and Miguel, if you guys can meet up, that would be really freaking awesome too. So yeah. You know, like I was telling Miguel this earlier too. Henry, if you see me just milling about, even if I'm with other people or I look like I'm like on a mission to go to the bathroom or something, I don't care. I am never in so much of a hurry that I cannot stop and say hi for at least a few seconds. Okay. So, please stop me, say hi, tell me that you're Henry from the live chat. Okay. And yeah, that would be so fun to see you guys and meet you guys. And for anyone who is lurking as well, please just stop me. Okay. If I'm actually going to the bathroom, I might just tell you, hey, meet me here again. I'll be just going to the bathroom for a few minutes and then coming right back out. You know, like I would love to have like a proper hello chat with you guys. Okay. I would love nothing more. So yeah, if you see me, don't be shy. Even if I'm with other people or if I'm actively talking with other people, do the hover. Okay. Like stand by and hover and like wave at me. Okay. Like very pointedly wave at me and hover. Okay. And then like maybe I'll loop you into the conversation if it's like with another viewer or something like that. And like we can just all have a really grand time together. Okay. Cool. So anyway, let us continue. We're doing a little bit of circular breathing. Okay. Yeah. The small breath is the way to go. So let's try it with notes now. Okay. The coffee is really It's interesting. I'm realizing that it's not so much my airstream that's shaking. It's the rest of my mouth and my jaw is kind of like stuttering and like kind of doing a bit of that because I'm hopped up on caffeine. Yay me. This is what I get for, indulging in my weekly coffee out. Quadwo, hello and welcome. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Yeah. So I got 1 or 2 good circular breathings in there. So right now we can consistently do 1 or 2 really good ones each time I do this. So we'll work on it. It used to be that I could only do 1 really good one once every 3 to 5 tries, but now I can do it sessions, that is. Now I can do at least 1 or 2 really good ones per session. So we're going to count that as a win. Let's move on to the 480 exercises. We're doing 397 today. Let's see where we are with that. 397. Okay, so this is 7th chords on the root of C. So that's going to be fun. Let me swab out because I actually have this out today. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've been a little bit lazy in the last few weeks. And I did not actually put together my takedown flute flag so I can swab out my flute in the middle of a session. Okay, that's going to feel so much better. All right, let's do this. Not bad, except that lowest C, I wonder if I am trying too hard and thus I'm smashing the flute into my chin and I'm like kind of sticking my lip out, which is doing me no favors. So I do want to try just the last few measures of this. Yep. So I just need to make sure that I'm not like trying so hard and trying to drive those low notes out, because when I do, I'm absolutely doing things that are counteracting what I actually should be doing. So I'll keep that in mind for the next one. blipping here and there because I got distracted. So I'm going to do that second half again. Hello, trumpet guy. It is late where you are. I'm actually kind of happy with being able to stream. It's actually it's early for me today. Normally for today I should have been streaming a couple hours later. But this time I decided to do it a little bit earlier so I can really focus on filming after this. I was going to do some recording and or filming, unsure. But yeah. Well, I hope you're having a wonderful evening, trumpet guy. All right, let's go on. More. All right. Not bad, except I again got distracted towards the end. I'm just very distracted today. My goodness. So we'll do the second half. Stranger Things melody? I am actually unfamiliar with Stranger Things. I know that it's really big, but I don't know. I just never really got into it. But it has that sound that like the major 7 sound, I think, has a very distinct flavor to it. It is used in a lot of soundtracks and stuff like that for that kind of slightly uneasy vibe, you know, the like overly bright, slightly uneasy vibe. It's pretty cool. Okay, so let's move this down. I believe today we're doing movement 1 again. So let me update what we're going to do next time. So we'll be doing 50 next time. So we'll do that. Oh. Oh, I did the wrong thing. There we go. 50. Okay, let me update that here. Cool. So that's for next time. We will be doing movement 1 today. Again, just kind of seeing how it goes. We're just going to run it. A little bit, I guess, with my slightly like caffeinated energy today, I think I will try to actually, in my head, play it a little slower. A few minutes from the first episode of Stranger Things and then gave up on it. That's so funny. I hear it's big, though. A lot of people really, really like it, right? Okay, let's just see how this goes. Yeah, definitely. I wasn't realizing how this, just a few sips of my coffee was going to do this to me. Oh, well, it is what it is. Okay, here we go. Let me make sure my Bluetooth pedal is on. Focus to be on the PDF. Okay, very cool. So let's do this. Try that one more time. I think I am reading ahead okay, but I'm thinking ahead too far. I think that's what's happening. So let's try it one more time. Right there, I was thinking too far ahead. So I was thinking already about a beat later. So then I got confused why I had to go to a D sharp instead of an F sharp. Okay. All right. I like kind of held it in the reins for everything before that. And I thought I was getting the hang of it. And then I didn't. So fun. Third time. I am pushing, like driving the low notes too hard. Like I have like really that tendency to do that today. too far ahead. Yeah, I'm just constantly about a beat too far ahead. Like my brain really wants to jump the gun to a beat later instead of just kind of like staying where I'm at. And it's causing so much like random confusions. So we'll go over those parts. Yeah, so especially there because it keeps going back and forth. So my brain gets confused as to like which beat we're on. Constantly thinking I'm a beat too far ahead. Yeah, if I like literally relax my brain down, you can hear how smooth that is. So I think it's caffeine. Ryan, hello. And I hope you're having fun at church. You're excited for the bedazzled flute. Yes. So guys, I did open it up. It's behind me here. And I opened it up specifically just to make sure that, you know, the foot joint can like fit and everything. So they fixed it and it's back here again. So yeah, I'm very excited. Very, very excited for Friday. Okay, I wanted to try a couple other spots too where I know my brain was just, woo, running away from me. I know where it's running away from me. Ooh. So I can feel that I think I'm trying to make it to the C flat way too soon. About a beat too soon. Okay, that was it. Like I'm trying to let go of all my fingers way too soon. Yeah, there. That foot joint has been around for a really long time. You're talking about the Sankyo foot joint that goes all the way down to low G, right? Yeah, it's been around for a while. It was kind of, it was one of those things where I'm pretty convinced that it was more so like, is it possible? And so they did it. Oh, subdivide? Is that what you're saying, Aline? I mean, I guess I could, except that that doesn't really solve the problem here. The problem here was that I was thinking of the C flat about a beat too soon. Subdividing, yeah. The subdividing the longer note has nothing to do with it. So, yeah. But thank you. Thank you for the tip. Okay. So we're going to keep that in mind for the next time we play this. So it's very interesting to note that, like, where in that section there I'm thinking too far ahead. I know the other section is right at the beginning, towards the end of it. So we'll do that part. So now that I know where that F sharp actually is, that's much more stable now. Cool. Okay. I think I can make the tonguing even better. I think in general a little bit too forward. So I want to think about that. Overblowing the last few. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm overblowing it. So that's making my tonguing sound really, really out of whack. So something to keep in mind is that if you the louder you play, this is something that I discovered like last week and I confirmed it yesterday. So the louder you play, the further back your tongue needs to be in order for it to be clean. The softer you play, the further forward your tongue needs to be. It's sort of like an extra variable to kind of like how I describe flutes like to be played. That's sort of the extra variable on top. So I think as I'm overblowing those high, super high notes, it's causing my tonguing to sound really spitty because based on how much I'm overblowing it and how much air I'm putting into it, my tongue is too far forward. So if I stop overblowing, then my tongue can still be in the spot that I want it to be in and it won't be too far forward. So I think that's what we're going to do here. Good night, Aline. Thank you so much for joining. Your apartment is now a lot cleaner thanks to you. Well, I'm so happy to have been your background noise while cleaning your apartment. Honestly, I think that is such an honor, really, to be that like comfort streamer that you kind of like put in the background while you do stuff. So, yes, that is quite late for you, trumpet guys. So good night. Thank you so much for joining today. Yeah. Chi Eduardo, that is a great question. Let me run a few parts here before I jump into that question. In fact, I might save that question for when I'm packing up the flute because that is a good question. I like it. You should try that background cleaning voice too. Yeah. Later, Shrimp Guy. Okay, great. I'll save the question for when I pack up. Does that sound good? So, okay. I just want to try that again with all those ideas in mind. Oh gosh. Much better, except my caffeinated brain is still like, let's go. So that part's not helping. Then I think the other part I want to try is yeah. I think I was partially thinking too far ahead and then also just overblowing the bejesus out of that. Okay, good to know. And then another spot here. My brain is skipping. Okay. Another thing I was trying out in all of those repetitions was making sure that I'm resonating the notes where they need to be. So it kind of needs to go like up and down in the mouth. And I do not think I was doing that before. So I think that's the part that is striking me as like the fingers feel like they know where to go, but even the timing of the fingers is a little bit off because I'm trying to keep the fingers closer to the keys. I don't think it's completely successful in this part, so I think we still have a little bit of work to do here. Oh, right, the next section is a section where my brain kept skipping one beat ahead. Okay, so I did find out in that one spot. Yeah. Again, my some of my fingers are moving, like anticipating a note that's like a whole beat later. So causing some issues there. Okay, we get it. Okay. And then one last bit. Let's see. Trying to change my tonguing there. And then the very end. Okay, so right there, I was making sure that I aimed down a little bit and put a little bit more air into the middle register E. I think I'm shying away from it. I'm going to turn off the timer. I think I'm shying away from it. And that's actually causing it to just completely lose the sound entirely. So we worked out a few things. What do you mean by flute literature? Do you mean like repertoire? And if so, honestly, that is entirely up to your own preference. Some people like some eras more than others, you know? Oh, books for methods. Well, again, kind of depends on the person. Like, one of the great things about having so many method books out there is that you can try a whole bunch to see what clicks with you. It's kind of like trying to find a teacher that clicks with you. You know, maybe the way they describe things just kind of works for you. You may find that some method books just don't make any sense to you because the way that it's written just doesn't really match you, you know? Yeah. Stories about specific stuff. I mean, there's like stuff like this. I mean, I don't really know, like the flute book, Complete Guide for Students and Performers by Nancy Toff. This one is, I think, I got a copy of this book when I was 12 at a flute camp. So, like, you know, there's stuff like that. There's, really kind of depends on what you're looking for. Method books and books about people's kind of thoughts on flute playing or like, you know, building a flute, what goes into making a flute, that type of thing. You get quite a few of those. But yeah, So there's also some books out there on like extended technique and yeah, like a lot of it, you have to keep in mind that the flute, as we know it now, is very young. The flute, as we know it now, compared to other instruments, is only like just over 200 years old. So it's very, very new. So a lot of the older literature that you're seeing for the flute is actually for Baroque flute or the classical era flute. You know, the stuff that you see for the flute that we have now is only from the early 1800s. So, you know, yeah. So like, for example, like I do have Bem's The Flute and Flute Playing. So this is his whole thing on his like findings, how he tunes the flute, how he like, this is his, like, it's like his idea of why, basically why he made the flute that he did, you know, like, so like, I haven't really read this too closely myself. I think I tried to start reading it and then I gave up. You know, you get funny things like this. A Word or Two on the Flute by W.N. James. This one is very funny. This one was written in, I think, first published in 1826. And this is essentially this dude's treatise on what he thinks is good flute playing. Now, you have to keep in mind, though, that this was written published in 1826. So the flute kind of just came out. He actually craps on it, articulation. Like, he hates double tonguing, absolutely hates double tonguing. He thinks it's like, you know, articulation from hell, and that no one who is a respectable flutist should play with double tonguing, which is absolutely not the case now. 200 years later, it's like you have to know how to double tongue because you literally can't play some stuff without double tonguing. So like, you just have to kind of keep in mind the era that these were written in. At what point during the development of the flute were these written in? You have to really be very conscious of the context that these are written in. Do not take these as law. Do not take these as like, this is how the flute should be played. It's a snapshot in time of what this one person thought of flute playing. So, yeah. Yeah. No law for the flute, basically. Yeah. Like, actually, yeah, basically. Because if you think about it, the flute that we have now is kind of, it has just been evolved over time, you know? So, like, and people are constantly breaking rules in terms of, like, what is deemed possible on the flute, what extended techniques you can do. People are constantly pushing the boundaries, right? So I think it's important to keep in mind that every time you're reading this type of literature, that you want to make sure that you're contextualizing it correctly, that you're looking at when it was published, what was happening at the time, that type of thing. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Do I have any favorites out of those? A Word or Two on the Flute by W.N. James. And Robert Biggio came out with a book that has a lot of follow-ups to the A Word or Two on the Flute. So let me see. Yeah, the books. Yeah, Readings in the History of the Flute. So I will link this for you guys there. So I hoarded this book from my music school library for years because I would like read bits of this because it was funny to me. These are essentially 19th century twit-longer wars where they would respond to each other and like hot debates, and they're twit-longer wars is really what they are. They're 19th century twit-longer wars. And so there is a response in this collection to A Word or Two on the Flute by W.N. James. And then there's a response to that response by W.N. James in this book. I just haven't actually bought the book for myself, but I hoarded it for many years. Yeah. So there you go. Where do people buy Baroque flutes? Oh, there are Baroque flute makers. Yeah. I'm not 100% familiar with them, but there are Baroque flute makers for sure. Yeah. Wooden ones. There are people who make like fully period instruments, like the way that they would have been made way back when. So yeah. Okay, I want to play a little bit of Rapid as Wildfires just for my own personal enjoyment, and then we'll call it for today, and we will answer Chi Eduardo's earlier question. So here we go. Again, I think I'm just going to mosey on to the end. Okay. Yeah, the brain is still skipping. Ran out of air there. Well, okay. I'm satisfied. Let's call it for today. All right. I'm actually remembering, guys. Oh, I am actually remembering to turn off my Bluetooth music pedal. Woo! Okay, there we go. Yeah, enjoy those books. I had a blast. There we go. I had a blast reading those when I was still in music school. Yeah, I hogged that book because it was, I don't know, it was just really like, it humanized people back then to me. Like, they're all just like, just ripping on each other in these very, flowery language, kind of British sarcastic humor, digging at each other. It's funny. It's really funny. So I don't know, it just made me feel a little bit better, weirdly, about just kind of like feeling that like I even felt it then, that like there's a lot of conflicting information about what constitutes good flute playing. How do you do your embouchure? How do you do vibrato? How do you do articulation? How do you, like what's good tone quality? Blah, blah, blah. Like there's pretty much anything to do with like how the flute sounds. There is a debate about it, and I just remember being a very, very like confused college kid, and just kind of feeling like I didn't know who to listen to, and kind of always felt like people were telling me to do different things, and everyone is telling me this stuff, like not like, they're not saying like my way or the highway. It was more of like people would preach it and be like, like this worked for me, like I really want it to work for you too, right? So it really came from the goodness of people's hearts, but there was just a lot of conflicting information about basically like how to play the flute. So I was just very confused and lost, and reading these essentially 19th century Twitlonger Wars was just weirdly very comforting, because I was like, these people also had no idea what they were talking about. These people also had no idea, like, they had opinions and they had to share them. And they would, like, rib on each other and, like, be like, you know, what this person says, I don't believe it because of this. And they would give all these, like, reasons. Some of the reasons are absolutely bogus and, like, stupid. But some of them are, like, kind of, like, makes you think. Kind of like, you know? And, you know, and then when you see the other person's response, they're like, no, you know, you are, like, not thinking of this, and then blah, blah, blah. And then some of their reasons are bogus, and some of their reasons are like, you know? Kind of makes you think. So, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of, like, humanized it for me. Yeah. Yeah, see, as Miguel is saying, your school changed through 3 different flute professors in the time you were there. Holy, that's a lot of change in, like, 4 years. So, there was a lot of stuff you were told that would be different, and you felt lost at times. Exactly. So I found a lot of comfort in this book, in this. I know it sounds so boring. Okay, it's like readings in the, what is it called? Readings in the history of the flute. You know. Yeah. So he includes an article, or like some sort of, it's like an article or like a publication by Charles Nicholson called A Word or Two to Mr. W.N. James. And then there's W.N. James, Mr. James's answer to Mr. Nicholson, you know? And then someone else wrote, William Annand wrote a few words on the flute. So, you know, it's really funny. It's funny, okay? Like, these people are just, like, crapping on each other, and it's very funny. So, there you go. Yeah, if you like nonfiction, you're probably gonna like this. The readings in the history of the flute. You're probably gonna love it. It's really funny. Yeah. Yeah, so if you didn't see the link, I linked it above earlier in the chat. Oh, so Lilac, you're on your third flute professor as well. She left the year before you got there. This is your second year. You start with a new professor this semester. Ooh. Yeah, it's always a little bit of like I found it to always be a little bit of like a crazy mind shift to change teachers. So, yeah. Yeah, all the slight changes in titles, everyone putting their 2 cents in. Yeah, it's very funny. Like, it's hilarious. So you guys can see why I hoarded this book and A Word or Two on the Flute by W.N. James. Absolutely hoarded it. Yes. I should answer your question. So your question was, why did I choose the flute out of all the instruments, right? So, honestly, I saw it on TV when I was 4. I don't know who was playing. I don't know what they were playing. It probably was Sir James Galway. But I saw someone play it on TV and I was hooked. Just hooked. Immediately. Like, my parents could tell that I was hooked. So they actually wanted to get me started on the flute much earlier, like possibly when I was like 6 or 7 years old. But the local music store would not allow it because they were like, she's too small. So, which to be fair, even the curved head joint flutes were absolutely massive for a 6 to 7 year old to hold up. So like super heavy. Like it's the equivalent of me playing a bass flute would be what I would have looked like as a 6 or 7 year old playing a curved head joint flute. So my dad took me to the store when I was 8 and lied and said that I was 9 because the the minimum age that the teacher there was, requiring was 9 years old, which is fair. That is fair. Okay. Because, 9 years old, most kids are kind of like have grown enough to feel comfortable holding up a flute. So like a regular sized flute. I get it. But my dad knew how much I wanted to play the flute. So he took me into the store about 3 to 4 months before I turned 9 and lied and said that I was 9. And that's how I got started. Is that my parents noticed that I have held on to my love for the instrument. I held on from when I was 4 to when I was 8, almost 9 years old. So by that point, it was basically half of my life, more than half of my life, that I was obsessing over the flute and not being able to play it. So I would do things like I would hide behind the couch with my little plastic penny whistle, and I would stick it in my mouth to play, but I would pretend that I was playing a flute by playing it off to the side like this. I'll play like this and pretend that I'm playing the flute. So yeah. You remember the story from one of my old videos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know that some of you guys have already heard this. So yes, now they make flutes that only go down to low D. They also make flutes that have no auxiliary keys on them. So no trill keys, no nothing extra. Just bare bones, just down to low D, no trill keys, nothing. Just so it lightens up the flute a lot. And then if you combine it with either a curved head joint or one of those S-style head joints, then makes it much, much easier for younger kids to play. Yeah. They make the little tiny ones that, yeah. I think I reviewed one before. Yeah. You hated it because of the most hated instrument in band. That's interesting, because that is certainly different from how it was in my days in school. In most bands growing up, I noticed had way too many flutists, way too many. Everybody wanted to play the flute, and most of the people who wanted to play the flute were girls. Not a lot of boys. I feel like there are more and more boys now again. So it used to be that just playing an instrument and performing and stuff was only for boys because patriarchy. And then it kind of morphed into only girls wanted to play the flute for a really long time. So it kind of went crazy on the other side. I feel like now it's starting to become a slightly better mix. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I played one at a very old flute festival. Yes, you remember. I think, was that the San Francisco one? I think that might have been the San Francisco one, which is more than 10 years ago. Yeah, I think that's more than 10 years ago. It's crazy old. But yeah, so that is why I picked the flute, is just because I've been obsessed with it since I was 4. And there's really no other big enlightening reason. I want to say something oh, I love the sound of the flute and it makes me cry and it makes me super inspired. No, it was just a kid obsession that turned into my career. I just never got over the obsession. I definitely lost my passion for the flute for a long time. So I kind of healed my relationship with the flute starting 5 or 6 years ago. I don't really know why I kept with the flute, even though I had a lot of emotional baggage around it. But I did, because I think at the center of it all, I still love the flute, even though it made me into an anxious ball of paralyzed mess for a really long time. But yeah, I think that central love for the flute never actually went away. I just can't imagine my life without the flute. Like, it's more like it's a part of my body and less of like a, like right now I would say it's not really an obsession. I do things other than flute, you know? I don't think about the flute all the dang time. It's more like it's just a part of my body, which I have explained in a video before, where like I feel like it's just like a hand, like my hand, like it's a part of my body, but I don't like obsess over my hand, you know? Like it just is a so deeply ingrained a part of me that it's not obsession anymore, you know? Yeah. Oh, how cute, Susie. In beginning band, you'd practice with friends and you traded and learned each other's instruments. That's so cute. You started on clarinet and your friend had a flute. That's so cute. And Celestian, you see your flute case and you're like, you can't wait to spend an hour playing it. Oh, that's so sweet. It took me a long time to get to that point. A long time. For a while, I couldn't even take the flute out of my case. Like I was that much like that kind of paralyzing anxiety. Like I just couldn't even take the flute out of my case to practice. So I knew that there's something wrong with me. Like I had to fix it. So I did, and I did fix it. And that's why I'm here. Savannah, hello. The flute rocks. I agree. But yeah, so let's see. So Miguel, it was a San Francisco festival. There you go. I think it was. I recall that. Chiodardo. So there were only 2 flutists in your band that didn't quit. Wow. Apparently the other instruments were easier because of the tone. Yes. You know, it's a little bit of a finesse that you need to kind of, you know, achieve right from the get-go to make a sound on the flute. If anyone is wondering, it's a stream of air that you hit the opposite edge of the lip hole, the edge part of the lip hole. And if your air is cut in half, you'll make a sound. That's really all there is to it. Yeah. So Miguel, you just randomly chose the flute in 5th grade, kept playing for whatever reason, didn't fall in love with it until sometime in high school. With the help of my videos. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you. But yeah, like I don't have actually like a big inspirational story for why I chose the flute. It's just a kid obsession that morphed into, it became so ingrained a part of me that it's just part of me now. Yeah. So Celestian, you're a newbie. Oh, so you have the honeymoon phase. Got it. Yeah. I 100% had the honeymoon phase. 100%. I feel it. I remember my honeymoon phase. I kind of had a new honeymoon phase when I healed my relationship with practicing and with the flute. And that has been wonderful. Yeah. It's now I feel like I've really settled into like, this is a safe space. It's a space that like I can return to like feel good, feel like myself, you know? Yeah. Hey, Chiodardo, that's so great. Yeah. It's kind of funny, right? It's kind of funny how like, I think a lot of times we go into this type of stuff and nobody knows, not even you. You don't really know how far you're going to take it, right? Like you might be just kind of doing it just to do it. And then who knows, you might fall in love with it, right? Like a couple of you guys in here, right? So, I feel it. Yes, it helps to mix some fun music in, video game, pop music, etc., into your classical rep to keep you sane and not spiraling in your playing. Yes, we need fun breaks. That's why I start playing. I put that in there. That's exactly why I put that in there, because it just kind of reminds me why I'm doing this. I'm doing it because it's fun. You know, at the end of the day, music is fun, and challenging things in music is fun. Like that's the fun part, is like, you know, achieving, like getting to a checkpoint, you know, like passing the next level, like, you know, you like learn a new skill and then you can like, you know, you get to a point where that just becomes part of how you naturally play. Like, oh, it's so great. Yeah. Agreed, Savannah? Yep. Exactly. You need those fun things. If you don't have those fun things, like it's very easy to lose. Like if you're out of the honeymoon phase, okay, I will say this. If you're in the honeymoon phase, ain't nothing is going to deter you from practicing the flute, okay? Like nothing. That is your obsession, okay? So, but let's say you're out of the honeymoon phase. If you're out of the honeymoon phase, you absolutely have to make the very conscious decision to nurture your love for music and for the flute. And that is you got to branch out a little bit, you know, like got to mix some fun things in. You know, all your little guilty music pleasures, lean into those. Like, don't prevent yourself from enjoying that stuff. Music is music. It doesn't matter what it is. Okay. Like even if someone else thinks that your taste in like fun music is garbage, that is their prerogative. That is them. That is their thinking. That is not yours. Do not take someone else's thinking as law, as something that you have to make for yourself. The world would be so boring if everybody just liked the same thing. In fact, that would be a dystopia. Okay, and I love reading dystopian novels. Dystopian novels are all like that. Everyone, quote, likes the same thing, you know? Yeah. Guilty pleasure equals tuba? Yes. Please tell me you have listened to Canadian brass, because I grew up listening to Canadian brass. My brother played the trumpet, so got to see them in concert live before too. Oh, amazing. Just amazing. Yeah. I do remember you like working on the badinnery with you. Yeah. So you feel like keeping it light, relaxed, but also over exaggerating the movement a little bit makes it easier. Yeah, because you're more into it. Denver brass. Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, Miguel. Exactly. Once you finally get a part you couldn't play for a long time, it's the best feeling ever that you can take on the world. Yes. Satisfying. Absolutely freaking satisfying, you know? Speaking of fun music things, one place where I get that insane satisfaction, and it's music too, are music games. In particular, my favorite is Beat Saber, which of course, yes, we own an Oculus. Okay, we own a Meta Quest or whatever it's called these days. Okay, we own one. It's a few years old now, but yeah, the only game I play on it is Beat Saber. It's a great workout. Let me tell you. Okay, I legit learn songs on there. Okay, I do it the whole musician way. You learn it slow, you like repeat certain parts, you drill it in, figure out what you're doing wrong, and it's the whole nerd experience, you know? And then you slowly up the speed until you could do it at full speed, and you're like dancing, and it is so satisfying. And let me tell you, my absolute freaking guilty pleasure in Beat Saber is BTS. BTS songs are very rhythmically interesting. They do lots of hemiolas, and they do a lot of kind of like syncopated stuff. And like, it's really cool. Like there's even some parts, you know, when you're doing the harder levels, there's some parts where one hand is doing one rhythm and the other hand is doing a different rhythm. And like, you feel like it's a similar feeling to playing piano, where you have to sort of split your brain. And when you get those right, guys, it is, I get the same, like, you know, the dopamine hit. Like I get the same dopamine hit that I get when I practice and I do something right. And it's just like, you know, amazing. It is so good. Oh, Celestian, smart. You're using the honeymoon phase to build a routine and structure around your practice. So if you get to a point where you stop, you can keep your interest going. Smart. That's why I have this. right? Because it takes out the mental labor completely of what you're going to practice. So every time you come in, you just look at your list and you just go. And it is, oh, it's the best feeling. It really is the best feeling. Like, because now I never worry about what I'm going to practice or what I have to get done in a practice session. There's nothing. I don't worry about that anymore, you know? Yeah. Yep. Yep. It takes longer. I do agree with Celestian here. It takes longer to come up with the routine than to actually do the routine. Well worth your time, though. Well worth your time to like figure out what you're going to do. Yeah. And then when you're actually doing the routine, be what's the word? Like, be open to having to change it every now and then, because your energy levels will change over time. The amount of time that you can devote to practicing will also change over time, because you get different responsibilities as life goes on, and like life changes, different life chapters, so like be okay with changing, and if you're okay with changing, it won't feel as bad when you realize you do need to change something. Because oftentimes we can start to feel like, oh no, we had a perfect practice routine and now I'm falling off of it. And then you feel bad and then you like start to give up. But no, instead what you should do at those times is kind of reevaluate, be like, what do I need right now? How long can I realistically, practically actually practice? And just kind of change things as you go. Yeah. Exactly. Energy levels are different every day. Sometimes you'll have a whole phase or like a whole, month or 2 months where you're just kind of low energy. And it could just be because life, like different things happen. Work stuff happen, family stuff happens. Adulting, man. It's just adulting. So like it is what it is, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, playing for yourself instead of lessons, Miguel. Yeah, it took me a long time to develop this. So I actually tell you guys too and my students that if you don't know what to practice, you can model your practicing after mine and then tweak it according to how you see fit. Like, this just works for me, but you could use it as a template, Like, essentially the template is some sort of warm-up. For me, it's harmonics. And then I do a little bit of tone work, and then a fun extended technique, and then technique, and then repertoire, which could be etudes or piece or whatever, and then a fun thing. And it doesn't have to be in this order. I just happen to like it in this order. My brain likes it in this order. So I just kind of, I do it this way. But some people like to put their fun thing in the beginning. Some people like to put their fun thing in the middle. Some people like to work on technique first and then tone, and like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just you, okay, in your practice room. Like, I'm just the weirdo that has opened up my practice room to the public for you guys to see. But like, when you're practicing, it's just you. So it doesn't matter. You're not beholden to like anybody saying that you have to do things in a certain order. No one knows and no one cares. So you can just do whatever works for you. Yeah, exactly. Like, use this as a template first. It's probably not 100% going to work for you because you're not me and I'm not you, which is totally fair. So what you want to do is figure out what doesn't work for you, like what your brain wants to do next. Instead of the order that I have it in, stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly. I'm just inviting you guys to hang out in my practice room so you guys can hear how I do things. And also so I can hear what you guys, like, what ideas you guys have too. Yeah. So anyway, I took a look at the time and holy cow, I've been going for way too long. We've been going for like more than 2 hours. So I need to get some good filming done. I'm going to take a little break first and then get some good filming done. The thing that I'm going to film is not a very happy thing. Just to put it out there. I know that some of you guys were kind of excited to hear that I was filming something. I'm sorry, it's not a happy thing. It's an update to the whole TSW, topical steroid withdrawal thing that my husband has been going through in the last 3 years. And I felt like it would be good for good communication to put on my channel what life has actually been like for the last 3 years. And I feel that that would make it a lot more understandable as to why I've changed so much. I recognize that a whole bunch of you who have been around in this channel for a very long time, you will notice that I am not the same person that I was 10 years ago. I'm not the same person that I was even 3 years ago. Just my values and my, just my priorities have completely changed. So I feel that it is, I don't feel obliged to do this. It's more that I feel that you guys would understand more why I've changed so much. So I'm sorry that it's not going to be a happy thing, but the stuff afterwards will be happy. So I'm planning on maybe getting back into making little shorts from these streams. Like I'll just grab a few seconds here and there that were really fun and funny and put them up as shorts for people to see, because those are really fast and easy to edit. So I was thinking I would get back into that sometime in the next month or so. I'm letting myself have a lot of time. So there you go. Okay. So thank you all so much for joining today in this really long stream. I love you all so very much. Thank you for saying that change is inevitable. I really appreciate that. I know for a fact that I have definitely have had a shift in viewership as I've changed, because I think some people didn't like that I was changing from my very upbeat sort of very YouTuber content creator self into someone that was much more authentic, genuine, and vulnerable. I think some people didn't like that. My guess is that it probably made them really uncomfortable. So, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a shift in viewership. So, but I felt that for those of you who have stuck around for a really long time, I wanted to provide a, just a, very open, transparent communication to you guys of what has happened to me and how it's affected me. So, yeah, there you go. So take care of yourselves. Stay happy, healthy, and safe to the best of your abilities. And yeah, just do the things that matter. Spend time with the people that matter. All right? Because there is no music without the musician. All right? I love you all so very much. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I will see you tomorrow. All right? Laters, guys. Bye.